What's up, Trader Gang? So annoyed. Quick disclaimer before you watch this video. It's all about the Panamera Turbo versus the Porsche Taycan Turbo, but Porsche have just discontinued the Panamera Turbo, meaning these figures are not based on cars that you can buy from a factory right now. However, the Panamera Turbo is still available as unsold stock across various dealerships and leasing sites, so you can still get it. So the figures do make sense. They just don't make sense if you're looking online at the Porsche website. Now, Porsche have replaced the Turbo with the Turbo S, and ironically, we're gonna go and drive that very car in a couple of weeks. So very excited about that. Fastest executive car around the Nürburgring. It's gonna be rapid. But as for this video, hope you enjoy it. If it doesn't make sense, don't blame me, blame Porsche, and we'll see you again on the next one. Peace. Are electric cars actually cheaper than petrol? That's the question that I've been wrestling with recently. Last week, I compared a mini electric with a petrol Mini Cooper to see which one was better value. And the answer was basically, it depends. You can go and watch that video by clicking here to see how that turned out for cars at the lower end of the EV spectrum, lowish. But what about the fancy stuff? Is a performance electric car more expensive than a performance petrol car? Let's find out. I'm gonna compare the Porsche Taycan Turbo with the Porsche Panamera Turbo. And once again, I'm gonna use a fictional character called Bruno to figure out which is right for him. All right? Suffice to say that our Bruno is in the fortunate position of having quite a bit of cash to spend. A mini electric just ain't gonna cut it for this guy, all right? And he's good with his money, so he knows how to make it work for him. He lives in a nice road in a posh home counties commuter town, and he drives a fair bit, let's say 15,000 miles a year for his business. Could that really work with an EV? Well, the Taycan is arguably a little bit ahead of the infrastructure right now, but it will do a safe 200 miles on a charge, which is enough to get him to all of those power meetings. Is he gonna be confident enough to pick a Taycan over, say, a Panamera Turbo though? Let's crunch the numbers, do some quick maths, and find out. Purchase price is pretty much on a par. The Taycan Turbo starts at £116,625 before options, while the Panamera Turbo is pretty much the same price. It's worth mentioning that it's also 75 horsepower down on the Taycan and quite a bit slower, but that's by the by. Let's say he's gonna finance the car, because no one's dropping £116,000 on a car in today's world, with 10% down on a 48-month plan, and he's looking at 12 grand up front and £1,500 a month for the Panamera, or 1,300 a month for the Taycan. Strike one to the EV. First year vehicle excise duty on the Taycan, zero, nada. First year VED on the Panamera, £2,135, yikes. Even for someone like Bruno, that's gonna sting. For the second year and onwards, £320 a year for the Taycan and $465 for the Panamera. Still another point for the Taycan. So currently it's EV2, ICE, nil. Cool, so now he needs to insure it. Obviously, that's not gonna come cheap. But you see our Bruno, he likes his fast cars and he's been a bit of a naughty boy. He's got 3 points on his license for speeding. So the Panamera is gonna cost him $1,726 a year to insure fully comprehensive. What about the Taycan? Brace yourself, for this it's gonna hurt. It's gonna cost £4,391, even with 11 years of no claims. Why? I don't know, new technology? I asked the geezer with the twirly mustache and the big voice, and even he couldn't explain it to me, but the Taycan costs so much more to ensure that it wipes out the first year VED saving. A point clawed back for the internal combustion engine here. Now, let's move to tax, where things really start to get interesting. I mean, boring, but also interesting, if you're Bruno. Now, benefit in kind is a big deal for people like Bruno if they run their vehicles as company cars. And as a 40% taxpayer, the monthly benefit in kind on a Panamera Turbo with a few options is gonna be, wait for it, £1,454 per month. And the Taycan? Nothing, zero. That increases to a whole 1% for the next tax year, but even then, it's only gonna be £44 a month, while that Panamera will still be costing him the best part of £1,500 a month. And we haven't even gotten to the fuel yet. 15,000 miles a year in a V8 Panamera Turbo equals a lot of unleaded. 3.5 grand's worth, conservatively. Now, if Bruno only ever plugs his Taycan in at home and takes advantage of the cheapest electricity tariff, charging overnight, the Taycan Turbo will cost £5.59 per 100 miles, which is £838.50 for 15,000 miles of driving. Nice. Factor that in with what he saves in benefit in kind, and that's let me do quick maths here. Oh yeah, that's a lot of money, all right? Nearly £1,800 per month less to run a Taycan Turbo over a Panamera Turbo. And if you're not gonna get these as company cars, just remove the benefit in kind figure, and the Taycan is still £300 a month cheaper every single month for the privilege of driving one of the coolest electric cars. No, scratch that. One of the coolest cars out there, full stop. No wonder Bruno's looking pretty smug. Talk about one of life's winners, eh? Okay, one thing I haven't mentioned is service costs. I know a lot of you were talking about that in my previous video. A Taycan is gonna be far cheaper to service than a Panamera, and I haven't included resale value, mainly because these figures are based on PCP, and at the end of the lease, /PCP, you just give the car back. There's no need to try and sell it on. So that's kind of irrelevant to our Bruno. And obviously there are other figures to consider, but I think you get the point. Whether you're a Bruno from this week or a Sally from last week with the Mini, it's obvious that there are so many variables depending on where you live, what kind of driving you do, what kind of person you are, how much you're looking to spend, whether you're a company car driver. It's not one size fits all. But generally speaking though, if you're running a premium car, especially as a company car, you could save a packet by running an electric car. Right, so that's my brain fully exploded from numbers. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Would you buy an electric car? I mean, they can be cheaper. I've just shown you that. Or will you still be sticking to dinosaur juice for the foreseeable future? Drop a comment down below, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.